for the 225 residents.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Well, real quick, if you don't know, I'm Jared. I've been over community, the deacon of community service, but I know Charles has taken this. This is kind of like my last hurrah, which is great. But I'm moving to a different ministry, and Charles is going to be over it. But one of the things that we wanted to do, because we're growing so much, and so many of you may not know, one of the things that we do is we support both Arms of Hope and Bowles Home. I'm going to give you just a small little snippet, and then probably not describing it as good as it can, and Matt will be able to do that, our speaker. But Arms of Hope is a non-profit that has two little entities. One is Bowles Home, that's kind of up in the Greenville area, and then the other one is Medina Home, that's in this kind of the San Antonio area. We support a cottage at Bowles Home. And for most of the time, the cottage and the names have kind of switched every once in a while, but it's been a cottage of either boys or girls that are in there, and we do a lot of events. And then we also go down there. We've done a men's retreat that's been up there, and just a lot of support that we try to help. But one of the things that we've kind of committed to do this next year is even more. We want to do everything that we can to help. There's a lot of new things that our speaker is going to kind of tell you about that's going on. So without further ado, I'm going to let him talk because he's got a little less than 45 minutes. But this is Matt Anderson. He is the head of the Bowles Home and part of Arms of Hope. And I've been trying to get him here, and I know he's been wanting to come. So we finally had an opportunity for him to come and speak with everybody. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. I appreciate you, bro. All right, good morning, y'all. I'm going to start us off with a prayer. We're at church, we do that, right? Let's pray together. So God, we love you. We thank you for the gift of today, the gift that it is to be able to come to a place together as the body of Christ, just to worship you and to worship you alone. I thank you so much for this congregation, Shawnee Trail Church of Christ, just for the ways, not only that they have poured into Bowles and Arms of Hope over the years, but just for all the ways that I know that they're pouring into themselves and their community around them, and just all of the different ways that you're calling each and every one of us to love you and to love one another well. And so I just pray that you bless our time this morning. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be pleasing to you as we study discipleship and as we take a little bit deeper look into what it means to be a follower of your Son, Jesus. May our eyes and our ears and our hearts be open to the ways that you're calling us. So we love you. God, thank you for the ways that you love us, and it's in your Son's name that we pray. Amen. All right, good morning, y'all. I am blessed and spoiled. I get to be the minister at Arms of Hope Bowles campus. My fancy title is the director of ministries, but you can just call me Matt. That's what my wife calls me, and so it works pretty well. Really excited to get to spend a little bit of time with y'all. Shawnee Trail has a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons that I will mention here in just a little bit. But before I start blabbing and talking about Arms of Hope, some of you may be sitting there and saying, I don't know what Arms of Hope is. I think I read that in a bulletin one time, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. You showed up. Wonderful. I'm going to tell you all about Arms of Hope. You'll probably get more information that you want. And my plan for these next 40-ish minutes is I'm going to paint a picture of who we are. More importantly than that, I hope to paint a picture of what God has done within Arms of Hope, and especially the Bowles campus, which we just celebrated 100 years, which is really cool. God's been at work at that place and that campus for a century, which is just absolutely amazing. But then my hope is at the end, you can help me fill in maybe some of the spots that I missed. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, if you have any, whatever it may be, I want to leave some time at the end of that where we can have some conversation and talk about maybe what discipleship looks like between Shawnee Trail and Arms of Hope throughout the course of 2025. So we'd love for y'all to watch this video about my friend TJ, who's a good buddy of mine on campus.
On behalf of the 225 residents that live on the Medina campus and the Bowles campus, I hope and pray that you are having an amazing summer of 2024. I'm standing here in the Chapel of Hope on the Bowles campus. This place is amazing all year round, but really ramps up in the summertime. We have church groups that come all summer. We have worship in here. We have Bible studies. And what it does is it makes sure that our number one priority of introducing people to Jesus and for them to grow closer to Him, this place makes sure that that happens. So I'm here with a special friend of mine. This is TJ. TJ, tell everybody how old you are and what grade you're going into.
I'm 16, going into junior year.
Awesome, awesome. And you have amazing summers out here at Arms of Hope, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about some of that. So first of all, what do you like about the church groups?
Church groups, we eat food with them.
Yeah, you like food? Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
And we do basketball, volleyball, and play soccer with them.
Nice.
We do a lot of stuff, a lot of water activities too.
That's great. Do they come in and lead devotionals and church services and stuff?
We do worship.
Yeah, awesome. So that's good? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so last summer, I know that you did something really amazing. You did something called Wilderness Trek. What did you love about Wilderness Trek?
I saw a lot of snakes.
Okay.
We did swim, canoeing for 3 hours. We did a lot of worship.
Yeah.
And we ate food.
Oh, there you go. Good stuff. Okay. And one of the things that we make sure that all the residents at Arms of Hope get the blessing of is an amazing Christian camp experience. So you've gone to camp, right? You're going again this summer as well.
Yeah.
But last summer, you went to camp. And so what do you love about camp?
Blobs, meeting new people.
Yeah.
I love meeting new people. We did basketball, longest zip line in Texas.
There you go.
And we danced.
You danced, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Good worship there as well?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, and then of course, the best for last, right? Something happened to you last summer that is the most amazing thing. And it is something in your life that means everything. And so will you tell everybody what happened last summer?
I got baptized.
You got baptized? That's awesome, man. Yeah, how do you feel?
I loved it.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It was the greatest thing in my life.
Yeah, fantastic. So thank you guys so much for supporting Arms of Hope and making our summer activities happen. Great job, bro. Good job.
So I know you're normally supposed to save the best for last, but you get the best for first this time. TJ's been a buddy of mine. He's been on our campus now for about 4 years. Really awesome kid. He's in his junior year of high school, like he said. And I just wanted y'all to hear from somebody that is not me what Arms of Hope has been for TJ, just in his time that he's been on our campus. And more importantly, what the Holy Spirit, what God has been doing in the life of TJ. Y'all saw the intro slide up. It's got our website on there, which you can get a lot of information off of our website. If you are of the social media type, we do have a Facebook, we do have an Instagram, we are on LinkedIn as well. And if you just go to YouTube and type in Arms of Hope, you will get a ton of videos just like this. This is one of our more recent ones. We do have some videos, some just sort of overarching videos that talk about Arms of Hope and just all of our programs, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. I saw that Ben Hansen guy earlier. Do we like Ben at this place? Okay, I just want to make sure before I started talking. Okay, all right. Middle school is not in here though, right? No middle schoolers are in here? Oh, hi, middle. So who has been to my campus on Bowles? Have any of y'all been on mission trip? Okay, I need y'all's help. This is the only time I'm going to ask for your help. What are some of your favorite things since you've come to Bowles campus? What did you enjoy about your time there? The minister is so wonderful. Yes, he is. He's a really great guy. He's kind of funny. So y'all work hard? Work hard? Okay, I'm seeing some nods. That's good. Who's excited about coming back this summer? 3 of us. All right, it's going to be good. No. For those of you who are parents of any of these middle school kids or middle school kids who are not in here right now, y'all have got awesome kids. Really awesome kids. For the last, I think, 2 summers, we've been able to end our summers with Shawnee Trail and Ben and his crew coming out and serving and being people that really sort of wrap up our last-minute projects on campus. But there's a lot of energy over here. Did y'all know this? Okay, just want to make sure. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be able to end the summer with a lot of energy, with a lot of good stuff. So, without further ado, let me talk a little bit about Arms of Hope. So I'm going to do a mix of reading and then we'll do some pausing from time to time. But Arms of Hope is a Christian nonprofit organization that provides assistance to disadvantaged kiddos and single mother families who are fleeing poverty, homelessness, abuse, neglect, and human trafficking. That says 2 residential campuses. Surprise. And this summer we ended up actually acquiring a 3rd campus. So Arms of Hope now has 3 residential campuses. One in Bowles campus, again where I'm at. If you're curious where Bowles at, it's right outside of the big booming metropolis of Quinlan, Texas. If you know where that's at. It's not big, it's not booming, it's really small. It's like 45 minutes due east of here. Medina campus, which is outside of Medina, Texas, or for geography's sake, Kerrville, Texas. It's not too far from Kerrville. And the 3rd campus that we opened this summer, or not opened, but that we acquired and sort of did some shifting around, is called our Refuge campus, which is outside of Bastrop, Texas. If you're familiar with the Austin area, it's just east of Austin. In our Bastrop location, it's a little bit different than the other 2. That is just our TP program. Anytime I do a tour on campus, especially with kiddos, I like to ask, what does TP stand for? And it never fails. Somebody says, thank you very much. Toilet paper. Actually, no, it's called our Together program. Our Together program is our program for single mother families who are escaping homelessness, domestic violence, and things like that. So we have 3 residential campuses, and then we have a handful of what we call our family outreach centers. And we have those in Denton, here in Dallas area, Houston, and San Antonio as well. So let me talk about our programs just a little bit more. So the one that I think that Shawnee Trail is probably most familiar with, just working with Jared over the course of the last several years, is our residential child care program. So in 1924, Bowles opened its doors. They broke ground Thanksgiving Day, 1924, and they took in their first, what they called back then, orphans, right? And so from 1924 to 2024, we are still in the business of caring for kiddos in a very similar way, except now instead of housing 150 kids in one building, we have cottage models, which has been a really great thing. And so all of our kids are privately placed. They come from a variety of different situations, right? And we can fill in the gaps, a lot of neglect, a lot of failed adoptions, and then X, Y, and Z on top of that too. But all of our kiddos actually belong to somebody. They have a guardian outside of Arms of Hope that is unable to take care of that child or those children for a variety of reasons, right? What does that mean? That may mean a parent is incarcerated. It may mean a parent is struggling financially or with dependency on different substances or X, Y, and Z. Maybe some behavioral issues as well. And so they fill out the application, go through the interview process. If it is a good fit, that kiddo will be put in a cottage with a set of Christian house parents doing everything that mom and dad is supposed to do. Some of y'all may know Andy and Jasmine Goering. They've been really tied into this church for a long time. I think they're actually going to be here a little bit later. Give them a high five. Tell them Matt said you're awesome and meet them. They're really wonderful people. They're superheroes. And so they've been there for, man, they're going to be mad at me. I want to say it's 7 years. It might be 8 years. And so an opportunity and a place for these kiddos to go where they can have all of their basic needs taken care of. And so that's our residential child care program. It's been there. It's going to continue to be there for a long time. I'm going to skip the second one, the Together program, and I'll come back to that. Our college and career program is a program that was started, I want to say about 20, 25 years ago. We hear all of these stories from back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s of these kiddos graduating from high school and then taking like $20 and a bus ride to Abilene, Texas, where they go to Abilene Christian College at that time, where a really awesome partnership. Abilene Christian would actually give kiddos that grew up in orphanages a free education, which is really awesome. Funny story, last year we actually signed a new agreement with Abilene Christian University, and our kiddos get a discounted rate, which is really cool. So any ACU alum in here? I'm always got to be real careful with that, right? Because you got Harding people who I've already met, you got ACU people. I'm an LCU guy. Is that okay? I saw some heads shaking. All right, we'll get through this. We're going to make it. So the college and career program was designed basically because we recognized, or folks before me recognized, hey, most 18-year-olds aren't ready just to be off completely on their own, independent, doing their own thing. And so the college and career program was formed. Kiddos in the cottages can apply for that if they want to. It is a place where they can move in. It's independent living, although we do have RAs in our boys' dorm and our girls' dorm. And it's an opportunity for us to continue a lot of the things that we worked on while the kiddos were in the cottages, right? Things like Christian accountability, making sure they're getting to church, making sure they're still getting some good Bible studies, making sure that they're eating stuff other than monsters and ramen noodles, right? It's good, but you got to have some more nutritious things, as we all know. And then as well, making sure that they're working towards their educational goals. We've got some awesome folks on campus that are really well served in the sense of what scholarships these kiddos can apply for, what school looks like, and all those other things. And last but not least, our TP program, Together program, which I've already talked about a little bit. That is our biggest program that we have on campus. As far as needs in the state of Texas, the needs are great in all areas, as we know, but there is something about that struggling single mother family that just continues to grow and grow and grow. We are currently building a new quadplex on our campus that will be open, I think, later this month or early next month. I can't quite remember. But after that is done, our campus will be able to house 30 families right there. So when you think, okay, Matt, you've got this program and this program and this program, how many residents do you have on your campus? Got about 100. Got about 100 residents. So right now we're sitting at 26 moms, and we stay right at about 75 kiddos. And when I say kids, I'm talking kids, infants, right? All the way up to the college kid as well. And then I mentioned our family outreach services that are located just throughout the state in different places. These are operating and providing a lot of very similar services to what our campuses are doing, except for the fact that they are not residential, right? So as people are coming in for help, as they're coming in for assistance, whatever it may be, they're not given a place to stay, but there are opportunities to help out with paying rent, keeping the lights on, keeping the heat on, especially in these cold months. Stuff like that, while also being able to turn and offer case management, spiritual opportunities, and help them get on their feet to where they can be independent and self-sufficient. Which brings me to our three primary focus areas that we are all about at Arms of Hope. So I talked about the educational goal, right? So if you are on any one of our campuses, you are working towards an educational goal. Whether you are little Timmy and you are in 4th grade and you are going to Bowles Independent School District, all the way up to the mom who might be working to finish a GED, going to trade school, or most are working towards a 4-year degree of some kind. We actually had one mom on our campus this last year that graduated with a master's degree in social work, which is super cool. So the education part is a big one. The mental and emotional health. As you can imagine, each and every one of our residents that are coming onto our campus are coming from some pretty traumatic situations, right? Whether we gauge the trauma this big or this big, right? The own individual knows what that trauma and how that trauma has impacted their life. So rather than just telling them, hey, come in, you're safe, don't worry about all that other stuff, we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities for them to process and to remember that they are created in God's image, and that they can begin to move into a more healthy and sustained type of life. And so we have some wonderful Christian licensed professional counselors on our campus that do a lot of that stuff, and I believe that that work that they do is just absolutely amazing. And then, of course, Troy, I think Troy may have said it in this video. If he didn't say it in this video, you'll hear him say it in any other YouTube video that we have online. The biggest thing that we are about at Arms of Hope, the biggest thing that we are about at Arms of Hope is introducing and reintroducing the person Jesus to everybody that comes through our doors. So that includes a mix of getting folks to church. We do a mix of chapel services on campus. Some of the kiddos, if y'all that have been there during the week, they've helped put on a Sunday evening chapel service that we do during the summer, which is a lot of fun. Super loud and chaotic, but it's the way that we like it. This is hard for me. Y'all got to understand. I'm a preacher by trade, but I'm used to preaching at Arms of Hope, which means I have to yell and do my hands crazy to get people's attention. Y'all are doing great. I don't know who the preacher is here, but they are spoiled rotten. So good for y'all. So feel free to holler or something if you need to. I'm used to it. But on top of that, mix of devotional, spiritual life skills, stuff like that. Making sure that we take every opportunity that we can to teach them about a God who loves them. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about things that most of us probably know. And I will say some of these statistics that I'm about to name are a little bit, they are a little bit outdated. I do need to go back and redo some of these things. But for the most part, you will catch the drift. So a child is born into poverty every 33 seconds in the state of Texas, in the United States. 1 out of 5 is considered poor. 1 in 4 in Texas is considered poor. A child is abused and or neglected every 35 seconds. Every 35 seconds. 38% of the homeless population in this country are children. 1.26 million school-aged children homeless. 42% of single-mother families are living in poverty. 42%, over half are living in extreme poverty, and you can read what is considered extreme poverty in there. 50% of homeless women and children are fleeing domestic violence situations. I will say for the 26 moms that are on our campus right now, 99% of them are fleeing domestic violence situations. Domestic violence, we know, is a scale that is this big, and they check all the boxes for that type of stuff. 35% of children in Texas are born to unmarried mothers. So our call to provide help, that was just an opportunity not to bring us way down, right? We know we live in this sinful world, and we are called to be people that are the light, right? Not the light of the world, that's Jesus' job, but at the same time, we're supposed to be people that go out and do not light our candle and put it under the basket. And so what does it mean for us to provide hope? So I just want to read a couple of scriptures that, for at least for me, is a good reminder as to what we're supposed to do. Caring for the poor is not just a New Testament thing. We read all about it throughout the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scripture. Whether it's gleaning fields, whether it is forgiving debts, whatever it may be. But in Deuteronomic law, we read, there will always be poor people in the land. Therefore, I command you to be open-handed towards your brothers and towards the poor and needy in your land. And then once we turn over into the New Testament, the Gospel of Luke chapter 4, we read, the Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, and to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. So we come to church because we have this curiosity to understand the divine more, right? That's why we got up this morning. It's why we got dressed. It's why we came into this place. If you're a youth, maybe you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I didn't get a choice or say in the matter. Good job, parents. They don't need a choice. Bring them to church. It's great. But at the same time, we're also coming to church, right? Because we recognize, again, that we live in this world that is broken. And yet we are called to be people who are set apart and different and do things differently. So this is an opportunity where I can talk a little bit about how can you help. Number one, you're already doing it. You're already doing some things. But I really love, and Jared told me y'all are studying discipleship in this class now, right? Or getting ready to, something like that. So what does it mean to be a disciple? So what I'm about to do is I'm going to give you some what I think are good options, good ways to potentially get plugged in. But then what I hope to do in the time where we get to have a little bit of conversation here in a little bit, y'all can ask questions about, hey, Matt, you said all of these things, but I don't like them. What about this? That's awesome too. Would love to have those conversations. So how can you get involved? There we go. Daily prayer. I know we say that all the time. Hey, will you pray for me? Hey, I'm praying for you. We very much believe in the power of prayer. And I believe that you do too, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Please be in prayer for this organization. Please know that out on our campus and beyond our campus within Arms of Hope, there are people praying for this congregation and praying for you too. It's a wonderful thing about a partnership as it goes both ways. Invest and contribute in the life-changing funds needed to support and expand our mission. I'm going to talk a little bit about what some of the costs are on our campus here in a little bit. I'm going to go through it really quickly. But obviously, we are a Christian nonprofit. We've been very fortunate. We've been very blessed. We don't have to take a dime of federal or state money. Because of churches, because of individuals, because of organizations like y'all. I did a little secret stuff and looked up Shawnee Trail Church of Christ. This church has been giving to Bowles for a very long time. Decades. So cool. So amazing. Another option, coordinate a clothing or food drive at your church or in your community. One of the things that we are about at Arms of Hope is as people are coming in, they're obviously coming from bad situations, difficult situations. A lot of them don't have anything. A lot of them are literally showing up with the clothes on their back. If they're lucky, maybe they've got a car full of a few things. One of the things that we try and seek to do at Arms of Hope is meet those basic needs. Shelter, food, and clothing. We have a commissary on campus that operates solely off of donations, as well as our clothing room as well. So always opportunities to do stuff there. Volunteer on one of our residential campuses or family outreach centers. If you've been on the Bowles campus over here again, if you've been on the Bowles campus, raise your hand. Would y'all please clap for them? And I don't say that to embarrass you. But we need people on our campus. Bowles has existed again for 100 years. Bowles cannot exist without folks that are willing to pour in and give their time. These kiddos, instead of taking the opportunity to maybe play some extra video games, sleep in a little bit more a few weeks before school, instead got on a bus with this guy named Ben, who I'm a big fan of Ben, and y'all can tell him I said that, and came to a campus out in the middle of nowhere to serve people that they don't know. That's huge. I very much believe that is being the hands and feet of Jesus. So thank you all for doing that. Here's a big one. Consider house parenting as a full-time occupation. And I know some of y'all just went, it's a tough job. It's a really tough job. We have 2 sets of house parents on our campus right now, and we're looking for a third. As a matter of fact, we've been looking for a third set of house parents for like a year. We're not worried. We've got enough support staff on our campus where we're able to make sure that the kiddos are being taken care of and everything else. But if you feel like maybe God has put on your heart that maybe house parenting is something that you're curious in or maybe something that you're being pulled to, please give me a call. Please catch me before I leave. I would love to visit with you more about that. If every single one of you are in here are like, nope, not making contact with that guy, not doing that. But maybe you know somebody outside of here that maybe that would be something that they'd be interested in. I'd love to talk more about what the job entails, payment, benefits, all those other things. I'm going to sprinkle in a little added bonus too. Whoever the house parents are in this cottage that we're looking for, would anybody like to guess where their sponsor church will be and where they will attend? It rhymes with Pawnee Schmale. Shawnee Trail will be where that cottage ends up going on Sundays, just to throw a little bit more out there. Been looking for house parents. We know that God will provide, something we've been praying for a while. But if you're interested and you know anybody that is interested, please come see me before we go. I'd love to chat more about it. And then last but not least, just stay connected. I am happy to give my number to anybody in here that wants it. My family and I actually live on the Bowles campus. I don't know if I mentioned that. I know I work there. I said I work there, but do live on campus. My wife and I and our 2 kiddos, Kason and Kaylee, so 5th grade and 3rd grade, they go to school with all of our kids on campus at Bowles Independent School District. It has been such a blessing. I got to spend a lot of time working in churches, military before that. My wife and I kind of popped all over the place. Every 3 or 4 years, it was time to get up and move. And here we are about to cross the line of 6 years with Arms of Hope. And I'm like, oh, please let me stay. I love it here. Like there's something raw and unfiltered about the ministry that goes on in this place that I just can't get enough of. So stay connected, whether that be text me, call me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those other things are a great way to stay plugged in as well. I got about 15 minutes left. All right, I'm gonna go through the costs of all these things real quick, just so everybody kind of has a grasp on what things cost. So a daily need for Arms of Hope residents, right? We're talking all the things I just mentioned: food, clothing, shelter, school activities, loving house parents who, as much as we love and they are doing it because they feel called by God, we pay house parents too. Okay, I'm going to keep talking about it. Medical and dental and visual care and all the other necessities that kiddos need. We're talking about $75 a day. Again, this is outdated. These numbers are actually a little bit more. $2,000 a month, $25,000 a year per resident. Did y'all hear me earlier say we have about 100 residents on our campus? And then counseling for all residents, 70 per session, $280 per month, $2,700 per year. We are fortunate at Bowles and Medina to where we have state licensed daycare. What's up, y'all? State licensed daycares. And so at these daycares, so for these moms that are coming in with their kiddos, right, for a lot of them, the reasons that they haven't been able to accomplish the goals that they wanted to do, whether that's education or emotional health or whatever it may be, is because they've got these little roommates, right? Anybody ever have to pay for childcare before? Goodness gracious. My wife and I lived in North Carolina for about 4 years before we moved back to Texas, originally from San Angelo. And whenever we were able to put our kiddos in the Arms of Hope daycare, I felt like the richest person in the world. Daycare is expensive, right? It's super expensive. And obviously you want to make sure that you're dropping your kiddos off in a place where they're being taken care of, where they're being loved, so you can go and accomplish your goals, whether it be work, school, whatever else, so you can get it all done. Our daycare allows our moms, for probably most of them for the first time, to be able to have that gift, right? Where they can drop their kids off on campus. It's actually at the end of our Together program street. And that baby is loved. That baby is being taught about Jesus. And all of those things while being vetted by the state and Arms of Hope too. So we know that they're safe people, which is an important thing. Costs $500,000 a year to run our daycares on our campus. $4,000 per year per child, $350 per month, $80 per week. And last but not least, talk about our family outreach centers. So I do a few things outside of being the minister / pastor on the Bowles campus. I actually also run our college and career program on the Bowles campus, run our hospitality center on our Bowles campus, but then recently I'm doing some stuff with family outreach too. So now that I'm going to be hanging out in Dallas and Denton a little bit more, it's my hope to get to stop by and see some of y'all a little bit more. But as these outreach centers are serving folks within their immediate community, right? On campuses, we have a lot of folks that are coming to live on our campus that might be right next door, right? Might be from Dallas, might be from Greenville, might be from Terrell, something like that. For our outreach centers, they are literally taking care of folks in their backyard, right? And walking with them type thing too. What does that look like? That's $1,500 per year, $125 per month. Counseling and case management, $500 per family. TJ did a really good job in the video just a second ago talking about what our summer looks like. Our summers are wild and crazy, much like Ben and his folks in this congregation as well. But we do summer camps all throughout the year. We have some that are tailored specifically to our elementary kids. We have some that are tailored specifically to our teenagers. We do a family camp so that our moms and their kiddos can go experience camp together, which is a lot of fun. I'm going to be bold, and we're going to try to do a camp on campus this year. You're like, Matt, how many times can you say camp? I don't know. I'm going to be really tired at the end of next summer. Please pray for me for that as well. But summer camp obviously costs some money as well. So what does that look like? $450 per high school students, $450 for junior high, $150 per elementary student. Okay, now we all take in a deep breath. We can let it out. I love the students. They follow instructions so well. Everybody else held their breath. They're like, I'm not doing what you say. But the kids were like, okay, all right, he's done. Let's pause. That is a lot of information. I hope you can hear joy. I hope you can hear passion in my voice as I'm talking about this. I love this place. Not because I feel like I'm somebody that goes in and makes everything better, but I love this place because I know how my heart has been impacted and changed by these moms and by all these awesome kiddos on this campus. And so what does discipleship look like? I know y'all have been talking about that. We as Christians, we as believers, discipleship is something that we talk about and pray about and think about all the time. What does discipleship look like for Shawnee Trail Church of Christ adult class as well as youth class? Yeah, so I want to be quiet for just a second, and I'm open to whatever. If we want to talk about discipleship and what that looks like, or if you have questions about Arms of Hope and maybe ways that you think you might like to get plugged in, or if you have questions, you just want to raise your hand and say, how we do it. I don't know. Matt's done. What we got? Yes, ma'am.
So the clothing donation bins that you see that say Arms of Hope, do those clothes go to a resale, or do they go to the children, or what happens to those?
That's a wonderful question. So what we do at Arms of Hope is we want to make sure that all of our folks are clothed with good quality things. And we are very blessed because throughout the state of Texas, as many of you know, we've got these big blue bins just posted all over the place where folks can drop in clothes, they can drop in kitchen items, whatever it may be. What we do is whenever our truck driver, Jerry is his name, when he goes and picks up stuff, we go through that and we see what can we use on campus. And if we can use stuff on campus, they are going to our campuses, they're going on the backs of our residents, everything else. I am a 39-year-old male. We don't have any 39-year-old males on campus, right? So when I donate clothes, what we do is we have this really wonderful partnership with Texas Thrift. I don't know if anybody knows about Texas Thrift, but we will take those clothes that cannot be used on campus. We sell them to Texas Thrift. Texas Thrift buys back those clothes for so many cents per pound. And every penny of the money that we get goes back into programming so that we're making sure that we're providing good quality case management, life skills. We can bring in some guest speakers and do some conferences and stuff like that for our folks. But that's a great question. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Hi, Jasmine.
We are in need of house parents at Arms of Hope right now. What kind of range of couples would fit that description of being a house parent?
I love this because what Jasmine doesn't know is that I did this tyrant on a house parent for like 5 minutes before she showed up, and she just like fed it to me, so I get to do it again. Jasmine, what a wonderful question. For those of you who don't know, Jasmine's one of our rock star house moms on our Bowles campus. She's amazing. Got some of the girls from the cottage here as well. So what are we looking for when it comes to a house parent couple? Okay, let's see. Gotta love Jesus. I think it's important that husband and wife love each other. Let's check that one. We want that one too. Jasmine, do they need to be able to pass a background check? The state of Texas says yes. Okay, that's an important one too. You tell me. What else? What else do we look for in house parents? Yep. Either way. Yep. Mm-hmm. Experience. That was good. That was good, yeah.
Definitely teachable to be able to learn to live with different age groups.
Yeah.
You know, you can have middle school, high school, elementary.
Mm-hmm. Moldable, Jesus-loving, healthy marriage, background passing, work as a team couple. We did it. That's what we're looking for. Some of y'all just went, man, I'm good at all those things. Come talk to me before I leave. It'll be great. What other questions we got? Yes, ma'am.
How many children are in these cottages?
So we typically stay between 10 and 12 kids in that program. So when we talk about the cottage itself, we're a little low on numbers right now, but for a cottage to be full, we're talking 6 boys for the boys' cottage, 6 girls for the girls' cottage. That would be what would be considered full. Yeah, great question. Yeah, Jared.
So yearly you've had around October, November, a big gala.
Mm-hmm.
But I know since probably COVID happened, it hasn't happened. Are those coming back? Are we gonna do those?
Yeah, great question. So if you couldn't hear, Jared was just asking, so for years and years we've done like our big gala that we do in Dallas. We've done like golf tournaments. We've done like a breakfast down in Houston kind of thing. Yeah, COVID just kind of came in and said, yeah, you're done. And then whenever things opened back up and we could do it, our last gala, it was great. We had a good time. Tim Tebow came. That guy's biceps are as big around as, I don't know, basketball. Is really impressive, and I'm trying to work out more. Anyways, but with that, we've struggled to get people in there. So I think for the time being, we've pushed pause on some of that, but opportunities to if you want to learn about Arms of Hope, I always say the best thing that you can do. Matt can come to your church. I can talk to you on the phone. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's no substitute for being in person. So if you're curious to what campus life looks like, whether the church, whether a Bible class, whether it's an individual family, give me a call. Would love to give you a tour on campus and get you to come out and see it that way too. All right, got about 5 minutes. What else we got? Yes, ma'am.
As a homeschool mom, living long distance, and not driving at the moment, what is something that I could do?
Love that. So homeschool mom, not driving. So if the ability to get on campus is not something that's there, I would encourage doing things like food drives, clothing drives. Years ago, I started a frozen meal ministry. And so we have, again, I mentioned a commissary on campus. Just think grocery store when I say commissary. An opportunity for moms at the end of a long day after they've been studying, working, picking up their kids from daycare, they can go into a commissary and get a frozen meal that groups have made. So a lot of opportunities to do stuff like that, to come on campus, especially with homeschool. I know schedules might be a little bit more flexible. Coming on campus to do and teach a life skill to our kiddos, to go into a cottage and have a meal and build relationship. At the end of the day, when we talk about discipleship, right, it's not about what can you do for us on campus, right? That's not discipleship. That's very much being the hands and feet of Jesus, to being called to be people that care for those who don't have. But discipleship means something different, right? Discipleship means that we are investing part of our heart and not just our time, not just our physical energy. So what does it look like within discipleship to build relationship with one another? And that's one of the things that I really dig about Ben and his crew when they come out, is Ben's always like, hey, what do you need? And then I always throw him like 15 curveballs, and he's like, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. He hasn't said no yet, which is really impressive. But he's also really interested in building those relationships with the kiddos on campus. And so I say this with everybody with volunteers, the sky's the limit, and it really is. There's lots of things. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Talk a little bit about the cottage parents. What's a day like there for them?
Fire, brimstone. No. So house parents operate on a 3-week on, 1 week off schedule. So for 3 weeks, they are doing everything that mom and dad are supposed to do. We're talking food, making sure kids are doing what they're supposed to do, getting to school, and stuff like that. So I will say, Jasmine, will you raise your hand? If anybody has any detailed questions about house parents, talk to that awesome lady right there, and she will be able to tell you firsthand. But what a typical week looks like, Sunday, they're going to their sponsor church. Did y'all know that the new house parents will get to come to Shawnee Trail? What a gift that is. But then, so after church, they'll come back. We do a Sunday evening worship service together as a campus. Monday, our school operates on a 4-day school schedule, like a lot of folks are moving to. So Monday, there's no school. So for Monday, for a lot of our kiddos and a lot of folks, that's when we do like med management. It's when we do some counseling, stuff like that. And then Tuesday through Friday, the kids are in school, right? And so from the time that the kids go to school, the house parents have opportunities to, whatever it may be, get their house organized, plan activities for the weekend, take a nap, watch a show together, whatever it may be. If you don't have kids, it's an opportunity to go play around in Dallas or Rockwall or whatever it is that you want to do. And then when the weekend comes around, it's just a matter of managing your home like you would any other place. So, allowing some time for some video games, absolutely, some movie time, but then let's get outside and get some fresh air and some of that too. So that's what the 3 weeks look like. And then for that 4th week, the kids that live in the cottage will pack their bags like they're going to grandma and grandpa's house, and then they move 1 or 2 houses over. And it gives those house parents an opportunity to be in their house by themselves to be able to recharge their own batteries, which is an important thing too. So that's a great question. Obviously, summer looks a lot different like summer does for any other religious organization, because camps and treks and all of the other things too. Yes, ma'am.
Is there an age limit?
So, state of Texas, we are licensed to have kids from 4 years old to 17 years old. Oh, no, not at all. As long as you can do the things, we're great. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very much a team-oriented position, right? It's not a matter of, hey, we've hired you, go into the cottage and do your own thing, right? We operate a specific therapeutic model that has, we meet, we do training, we do lots of different things. And whereas you do have autonomy within your cottage, it very much is a team effort, so you're not feeling like you're by yourself kind of thing. Got time for one more, I think.
Yeah.
So for the house parents, the cottage has up to 6 children in it?
Yes.
Okay.
And the way that the cottage is set, so you have house parent quarters and you have residential quarters. And so everybody has their own space. The house parents have their own section of the cottage that is just for them, too. Yeah. It's great. We did it. We did it. Guys, thank you so much for letting me be with you this morning. I have heard wonderful things about this church, Shawnee Trail, for a number of years. Long before I came out, my wife and I grew up in San Angelo, Texas at Johnson Street Church of Christ, and I've known about Shawnee Trail for a long time. My love for this church has very much grown over the 6 years that I have been at Arms of Hope. I want to close and just read a passage that is probably pretty familiar to most of us, but I think is really applicable, especially as we think about what discipleship looks like, both in the first century, but maybe in 2025 too. So in the Gospel of John, chapter 13, we read, Jesus says, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you should also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciple, if you have love for one another. Thank you for loving us so much at Arms of Hope. Know that we love each and every one of you. I'm going to stick around for worship, so grab me between worship, grab me after worship. Would love to chat more. Let's pray. God, we love you. We thank you for just the gift that it is to be able to talk about all of the ways that you are at work in this world. It's so easy to get focused on the fractured part, the sinful parts, the things that give us pause, the things that give us tears. But God, as the scripture says, we have hope in the morning. We believe that this is a day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. God, teach us to be disciples. Teach us to be people that go out and love you and love one another well. I pray that you be with this congregation, be with each and every one of us. Jesus, we love you. Jesus, come quickly. And it's in your holy and precious name that we all say together. Amen.